The film begins by showing a girl who has just returned from school, walking along an empty road lined with flowers on both sides. At the same time, there is a man named Kim who is out for a walk with his friends. When Kim sees the girl, he feels intrigued and without hesitation immediately orders his friends to abduct her. It turns out that Kim is a known hitman who has killed dozens of victims in various countries. However, because Kim is the son of a general in North Korea, all his crimes have been covered up by the state. Among the North Korean police officers, there is one named Dae Bum who strongly opposes this decision, as many innocent people have died in vain, especially since he knows that Kim carries out these murders just for fun. As a result, Dae Bum is determined to catch Kim before his number of victims increases. Additionally, Dae Bum is so serious about this that he even beats up any of his subordinates who are incompetent. Dae Bum then reports all his investigative findings to the police commander, but once again, the North Korean police refuse to pursue the case, even though everyone already knows who the perpetrator is. Strangely, Dae Bum is removed from the case and asked to transfer to another division, despite having submitted all valid evidence. However, the North Korean police choose to protect the son of a general rather than pursue justice. In the end, Dae Bum reluctantly has to accept his superior's decision. Elsewhere, Kim orders his 3 friends to torture the girl they had kidnapped earlier while he watches until he is satisfied. After that, Kim puts on a coat, grabs his killing tools, and with a wicked smile and without uttering a word, he executes the girl. Not long after, South Korean police discovered the body of the girl, who turned out to be a local resident. At that time, a police officer named Lee-do, who was investigating the case, had been following this serial murder case for quite some time. Additionally, Kim had been living in South Korea for a while and had committed similar acts with many victims. Unexpectedly, it was revealed that Kim had traveled to various countries solely to commit murders. This incident caused great concern among the South Korean public, as the authorities had not yet identified the perpetrator. The next day, Lee-do is called by the South Korean police commander to take over the serial murder case, even though he is still suspended for being too brutal as a police officer. However, the police commander informs Lee-do that the previous officer in charge of the case had given up and even chose to do the unthinkable because this case is much more complicated than other murder cases. Therefore, the commander decides to appoint Lee-do as his replacement, but on the condition that he must not violate the code of ethics as he did before. Hearing this, Lee-do refuses the commander's order, stating that he will only take the case if he is allowed to act brutally, and with no other options, the commander is forced to agree. Not long after, Lee-do forms an investigative team and begins to investigate the serial murder case. Shortly after, one of his subordinates reports that the forensic team has found the perpetrator's DNA on the victim's body, and without hesitation, Lee-do rushes to the laboratory. At that moment, the forensic doctor suspects that the perpetrator deliberately left the DNA evidence to mock the police because the DNA found belongs to a foreigner. After obtaining this clue, Lee-do immediately orders his subordinates to find someone who matches the DNA. But to save time, Lee-do instructs them to check the DNA of prisoners first. Hearing this, one of his subordinates protests, saying that the DNA found is likely a setup by the perpetrator. Unfortunately, Lee-do immediately assaults him for not following orders. Lee-do then warns all his subordinates that he will not hesitate to fire them if they dare to disobey his orders, especially if they are incompetent in investigating this case. After all, the case they are investigating involves many innocent lives, so Lee-do expects no one to fool around during the investigation. While the police are busy investigating the murders, the intelligence agency is secretly monitoring the situation. At that moment, a special agent named Jae-hyuk is seen having a meeting with his superior. Unlike the police, the intelligence agency already knows that the perpetrator is Kim, but they are still covering up the case for national security reasons. If Kim is captured, North Korea will likely retaliate against the country. Moreover, Jae-hyuk's superior has just received information from the CIA that Kim possesses a secret that must not be exposed to the public, as it involves financial dealings in various countries. Therefore, Jae-hyuk is tasked with twisting the facts to ensure that Kim is not identified as the culprit. Being a person with a conscience, Jae-hyuk wants to refuse the order. However, the intelligence superior threatens to fire him if Jae-hyuk dares to refuse, and in the intelligence world, being fired means he would also be killed to prevent him from leaking state secrets. As a result, Jae-hyuk is forced to carry out the orders. After the meeting, Jae-hyuk begins to move to execute his superior's orders, by instructs his subordinates to secure Kim's hideout before Lee-do and his team can capture the killer. At the same time, Lee-do has also learned of the location thanks to information from a prosecutor who owes him a favor. Sometime later, Jae-hyuk arrives at Kim's location, which is already heavily guarded by the police. However, Kim appears very calm even though the police and intelligence agents have raided his hideout. Kim even has time to read a book in this tense situation. Without hesitation, Jae-hyuk pulls out handcuffs and is about to take him to the intelligence office, but at the same moment, Lee-do appears and takes Kim from him. Lee-do then explains that he has obtained an arrest warrant, so the intelligence agency is not allowed to interfere. Knowing this, Jae-hyuk immediately calls his superior and informs him that the police have moved further than expected. Therefore, Jae-hyuk plans to obstruct the investigation process and orders his subordinates to arrest Kim's friends. Unfortunately, both of Kim's friends have been captured by a man in a black robe, and not only that, this man has also tortured them to death in a very gruesome manner. Not long after, Lee-do is seen interrogating Kim at the police station. At that moment, Kim remains very relaxed and sneers at Lee-do because he knows that the South Korean police will not be able to prove his crimes. Especially since Kim is being aided by a lawyer sent by the intelligence agency who has already prepared all the alibis to get him off the charges. Despite this, Lee-do refuses to give up and continues to search for other evidence to put him behind bars. After the interrogation, Lee-do mobilizes his subordinates to gather additional evidence and to arrest Kim's 3 accomplices who were also involved in the murders, so that Lee-do can bring Kim to court. Not long after, a food delivery courier arrives at the police station with an order. However, unbeknownst to them, the courier is actually an intelligence agent sent by Jae-hyuk to bug the station. Jae-hyuk then instructs the IT team to stay on standby and monitor every movement of the police, while he also orders the field team to quickly locate one of Kim's remaining accomplices who has not yet been found. Since the other 2 have not been detected so far, it is highly likely that they have already been executed by North Korean forces. Meanwhile, Lee-do and his subordinates have been awake for 24 hours, reviewing CCTV footage around Kim's hideout. So focused on their task, they fail to notice that the courier who always delivers their orders is actually an intelligence agent. In short, their efforts finally pay off when one of Lee-do's subordinates finds a clue in one of the CCTV recordings. From all the clues gathered, Lee-do is finally able to counter all of Kim's alibis. The CCTV footage also proves that Kim traveled to locations related to the murders. However, Kim only responds to Lee-do's accusations with a sinister smile, which of course makes Lee-do want to rip that smile off his face. Elsewhere, the last of Kim's accomplices managed to survive. It was also revealed that the man in the black robe who killed Kim's other 2 henchmen was Dae-bum, a North Korean police officer who had secretly freed Kim in South Korea so he could be used as a witness in court and serve as evidence for all the crimes committed. Before the police could apprehend him, the intelligence agency quickly captured Kim. After securing Kim, the intelligence officials called in Jae-hyuk and gave him an ultimatum to expedite the closure of the case. They warned him that if he failed to deliver Kim to the CIA, he would be made the scapegoat and dishonorably discharged. After receiving the ultimatum, Jae-hyuk decides to meet with the police commander and propose a collaboration. At that moment, Jae-hyuk suggests that the police can continue with the case on the condition that Kim is not named as the serial killer. In return, Jae-hyuk will hand over Kim's accomplice to the police, which he believes is a win-win solution for both the police and the intelligence agency. Hearing this, the police commander immediately agrees, and without wasting any time, Jae-hyuk orders his subordinates to swap Kim with his accomplice. This decision infuriates Lee-do, who feels overstepped, as he is the one responsible for the case. To make matters worse, the police commander orders him to release Kim and close the murder case. After returning home from the office, Lee-do is shocked to find a stranger in his house, and to his surprise, the person turns out to be Dae-bum. At that moment, Dae-bum introduces himself as a North Korean police officer who wants to capture Kim. Additionally, Dae-bum then tells Lee-do about how cruel Kim's father was, torturing him for daring to investigate his son's case. Despite this, Dae-bum remains determined to capture Kim. Therefore, he needs Lee-do's help, as he has the authority in South Korea. Especially since it seems the intelligence agency will likely choose to protect Kim rather than punish him. Before Lee-do can accept the offer, he suddenly receives news that Jae-hyuk has taken Kim out of the police station. Without a second thought, Idu rushes there and tries to stop the intelligence agents. Seeing this, Kim smiled with satisfaction, knowing he had successfully pitted the two agencies against each other. Enraged, Idu went on a rampage, which made him infamous in the media and gave the police commander a reason to suspend him for a month. After the incident, Idu was seen feeling frustrated, venting his anger by destroying everything around him. Once he calms down, Idu recalls Dae Bum's offer from the previous night, where the North Korean police officer guaranteed that Kim would be punished for his crimes. Moreover, Kim's father has now been executed by North Korean president for daring to oppose him. Additionally, if Kim is handed over to the CIA, it's likely that he won't be punished because of the secrets he holds related to international finances. At this moment, Idu begins to consider accepting Dae Bum's offer of cooperation. On the other hand, Kim is at a safe house guarded by intelligence agents, where he is soon to be taken to America by a CIA agent. One of the agents guarding him is a woman, and upon seeing her, the psychopathic tendencies within Kim begin to surface. At the same time, Jae-hyuk is discussing with his superior the transfer of Kim to America. Once this case is resolved, Jae-hyuk is set to receive a promotion. However, this seems unlikely, as shortly after, Jae-hyuk receives news that Kim managed to escape after injuring the female agent. It turns out that the intelligence agent assigned to guard Kim had stepped out for a smoke, leaving the female agent alone. Furious, Jae-hyuk immediately slaps the negligent agent. Fortunately, the intelligence team manages to recapture Kim before he can get far. At that moment, Jae-hyuk could no longer contain his anger and vented it by beating Kim. However, Kim smiled and said that he was just having fun with the female intelligence agent. Hearing this, Jae-hyuk became even more furious because Kim viewed other people as nothing more than his toys. On the other side, Idu received a phone call from Dae Bum, who once again urged him to cooperate. However, Dae Bum mentioned that the police commander had suspended him. Besides, Kim would soon be transferred to America. Nevertheless, Dae Bum still had a way to buy some time. During the phone call, Dae Bum informed Idu that Kim and his friends had once made a video of torture and sold it on the dark web. But for some reason, the police who investigated the case were unable to resolve it. Therefore, Dae Bum asked Idu to check the files at the police station. Since he was still suspended, Idu asked his subordinates to search for the torture video and ensure that Kim's face was visible. This would give Idu a reason to arrest him again. At the same time, a CIA agent named Paul had already arrived at the safe house, ready to take Kim to his country. Before doing so, Paul tried to persuade Kim to reveal the secret accounts that his father once held. However, Kim was not easily persuaded, so he rambled on without direction in front of Paul. Fed up with his babbling, Paul ordered his men to transfer Kim immediately. But before they could leave, Idu and the police suddenly arrived with a new arrest warrant. This time, Idu also brought undeniable evidence, the torture video belonging to Kim that was sold on the dark web. After handcuffing Kim, Idu intentionally leaked details of the investigation to humiliate Kim in front of everyone. At that moment, Idu stated that the reason Kim killed the girls was that he saw them as his toys. Hearing this, Kim felt offended for the first time, because there was truth in Idu's words. At the same time, Jae-hyuk allowed Idu to take Kim to be tried, as he truly deserved to be punished, but Jae-hyuk also knew that he had to prepare for his dismissal from the intelligence agency. Before leaving, Paul, disappointed in him, revealed that Idu had been working with Dae Bum all along. Paul also explained that Dae Bum held a grudge against Kim because he had tortured and killed Dae Bum's subordinates while they were asleep. Fortunately, Dae Bum managed to escape, and from that night on, he was determined to capture Kim and avenge his fallen comrades. After revealing all this, Paul left, vowing to find another way to capture Kim. Not long after, Idu and his subordinates were suddenly barred from entering by the police commander. They were also ordered to hand Kim over to the CIA, which left Idu utterly baffled by his commander's decision. After all, the evidence Idu have uncovered was indisputable, and as a police officer, Idu believed that he must uphold justice without favoritism. Idu then contacts the prosecutor who usually helps him to continue prosecuting Kim in court. However, the prosecutor is no longer able to assist due to pressure from his superiors. In the end, Idu resigns himself to the situation and decides to hand Kim over to Jae-hyuk again, knowing that the CIA will likely kill Kim once they obtain his secret accounts. When the CIA agents are about to take Kim away, Kim suddenly shoots Idu. Seeing this, Jae-hyuk immediately orders his subordinates to rush Lee to the hospital before it's too late. Afterward, Jae-hyuk chases after the CIA agents who are taking Kim to the airport, but suddenly, he is hit by a car. When he sees Dae-bum capturing Kim, Jae-hyuk initially wants to stop him, but at the same moment, he realizes that only North Korea can truly give Kim the punishment he deserves. Finally, Jae-hyuk decides to let Dae-bum take him away. Afterward, Jae-hyuk visits Lee in the hospital, and it turns out that he has fallen into a coma, which the doctors say will last for a long time. Moreover, dozens of bullets have damaged his internal organs. Because of this, Jae-hyuk goes to the intelligence office to report to his superior. Unexpectedly, the superior decides not to fire Jae-hyuk because Kim escaped while in CIA custody, which means it was their fault. On the other side, Dae-bum and the North Korean intelligence agents are taking Kim back to their country by boat. However, during the journey, the agents betray Dae-bum and side with Kim. Whatever Kim offered them, it leaves Dae-bum cornered with no one to defend him. With a sinister smile, Kim raises a gun and shoots Dae-bum, before throws his body into the sea so it won't be found by other North Korean agents. After that, Kim plans to leave the country to resume his killing spree elsewhere. 3 years later, Jae-hyuk was still consumed with anger after learning that Kim had managed to kill Dae-bum and escape to Hong Kong. Determined to teach him a lesson, Jae-hyuk decided to go there. He also agreed to collaborate with Paul again, as the CIA had yet to uncover the secret account that Kim was hiding. Wasting no time, Jae-hyuk entered the apartment suspected to be Kim's hideout, and with ease, he swiftly took down dozens of Kim's henchmen guarding the place. After slaughtering them all, Jae-hyuk sits in front of Kim with a cold stare, and before exacting the punishment Kim deserves, Jae-hyuk chooses to torture him slowly. In agony, Kim begs him to stop and even threatens to ruin Jae-hyuk's life if he dares to continue. However, Jae-hyuk calmly tells Kim that he is worthless now, as his father has been beheaded by the North Korean president, and his secret accounts have been emptied by Chinese intelligence. In other words, Kim has nothing left to defend himself. Therefore, Jae-hyuk declares that he will send Kim to hell for all his crimes. Shortly afterward, Jae-hyuk presented Kim's head to Paul, leaving the CIA agent feeling betrayed by Jae-hyuk's actions. However, Jae-hyuk explained that the secret account Kim had was emptied by the Chinese, so the CIA no longer needed to pursue it. Upon hearing Jae-hyuk's words, Paul fell silent, realizing that he had been deceived all along. In the final scene of the film, Jae-hyuk reflects and prays for Lee, who is still in a coma in the hospital. Additionally, Jae-hyuk hopes that no more mad killers like Kim will take the lives of innocent people. The film then ends. Moral lesson from the story: remember, if you see flowers on both sides of an empty road, it's probably not a good time to stop and smell them, especially if a hitman is having a bad day. And if you ever consider becoming a killer with a secret bank account, just know that someone out there is always better at emptying them than you are at filling them.